Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of a 10-minute Marvel. Today we're going to be talking about Agatha All Along, the series as a whole, finale, what we liked, what we didn't, why Greg thought it was the worst show ever.
Worst. The worst.
Important things like that. Plus news and rumors as always. So, cutting my way out of the Witch's Road, I'm Petter,
Oh,
and co-hosting
and
as always.
as always, uh, man, I thought I could figure one out on the fly, but I guess nope. I got nothing, I guess, really just
Good attempt.
good attempt.
Well, attempt.
Trying to create something from scratch is not very easy. But yeah, it's great, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Very nice.
If you're
Got there
looking
eventually.
I know I did, right? It took a while, but it happened. If you're looking for ways to support us, you can like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, of course. Find us and follow us on Facebook and Twix, hashtag 10 Minute Marvel. And of course, you can leave a rating and review where you can find wherever you find your friendly neighborhood podcast from.
Yes. And we do really enjoy and appreciate everybody checking out the podcast and checking out the videos over on YouTube. So
Ooh,
I
is it
was,
going to be another 2 hour episode of 10 Minute Marvel this week?
we'll
Or,
see. Uh, with the news Marvel dropped, maybe.
oh boy, yeah, let's hit it.
So, rumors kick off there. One of the new rumors, not really new rumors, is basically saying like, well, after Agatha All Along, uh, Young Avengers is 100% happening. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah. Do you think that they like just kind of wanted to feel the territory of Agatha, or like, or they just not wanting to step on Agatha, you think? Because a lot has dropped, right? And
Hmm.
having the Young Avengers, which we all kind of knew about, but just officially giving the go ahead.
But it's not official. It's still
Still
rumor.
rumored. Sorry, that's
Yeah,
true. We're in rumors, not official, but
yeah.
where was the source on that one?
I don't even know on that one. That was one of those that kind of popped up with the limited sourcing.
Then I retract my question and statement.
Yeah. But I feel like, yeah, it's happening.
Yeah.
Next rumor, this one from Daniel RPK, that there's discussing revival of the 1990s Spider-Man series. So
Say,
bringing
come
back,
again?
so the 90s Spider-Man series, animated series.
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay. Is it
I mean, sure, I
is it
guess.
great? Is it good? Like I don't know.
I I
I didn't
watched a
watch
fair
it.
amount of it growing up.
Okay.
I enjoyed it, but obviously it's if they're gonna do it, they have to treat it like they did X-Men 97, which is basically to say this is for fans of the show. And if you're a fan of the show, you're now an adult, so they need to up the level of the story and kind of what's going on, like they did with X-Men 97.
Hmm. Not gonna do it for the kids this time, huh?
I
But
mean, but why? Like the kids would look at it and go, "Well, that looks old."
one word, toys.
I mean,
I
sure, but
mean,
they,
I just to get those kids hyped up, I think, and give them something to like reinvigorate maybe that franchise
yeah.
with the up and
Well,
coming.
I'm not too worried about Spider-Man. There has been the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show on Disney Junior, so it's not like Spider-Man has been out of the limelight. And I think that Marvel knows with kind of the youth too that having Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen in there are important. So if it's 90s nostalgia, then that obviously is targeting people who watched it in the 90s.
Sure. I
Plus,
would agree though, like you're saying though, give it the depth that
yes.
X-Men 97 did.
Yeah. And maybe people are wondering how this, like, how does Marvel manage to do these Spider-Man shows? Because we do have Spider-Man, uh, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man coming out soon. We'll get to that here in the news in a second. But Marvel can do, I believe it is episodic Spider-Man animation as long as it's under 25 minutes per episode or something like that. Basically, it's how like they could continue to produce animated TV shows like Saturday morning cartoon stuff after
Yeah.
it was sold to Sony.
Man, could you imagine being in that negotiation room between Sony
Yeah.
and like like
The
if I was a
original.
lawyer having to write that up, I'd be like,
Yeah.
kill me, kill me, kill me. Like this is just painful.
hmm
You can only see the Spider-Man emblem 3 times, and he can shoot his web 10 times. I just feel like just
Well,
ridiculous stuff like that.
yeah, and like we've heard, or I've heard some of like the rumors as to like the stipulations for how Sony can use Peter Parker's Spider-Man. Like there's a lot of things that are just very locked into place because Marvel, rightfully so, was like, we don't want you ruining Spider-Man.
Yeah. Painful.
Yes. So another Daniel RPK rumor is that Blade is going to film in 2025.
Stop.
Yes.
Just stop.
Smaller budget, very dark, R-rated.
And sorry, and what?
R-rated.
R-rated? Okay, I thought you had one more thing after that.
Nope.
And Midnight Sentence is still
Rumored to be fast-tracked, whatever
hmm,
that means.
man. All right. I mean,
Yeah.
great. That's cool. Like
Yep.
I'm yeah, I guess having watched Agatha now and having it's just a little bit of that witchcraft, dark magic,
Yeah.
evil spirits, all that kind of stuff. I'm kind of, makes me a little bit more excited about Blade because I'm not stoked about Blade, but I
hmm
know it's gonna be fun and good. So
Yeah. And this, I'm going to call back to my rant last week about how everybody was talking about how it was canceled. No, it was taken
we got
off the
hot.
calendar
We
from
got hot about it.
November 2025. So this wouldn't shock me, but if it does film, I don't expect it to film until the later part of 2025. So
Yeah.
probably like a 2027 release.
So really? Does that fit? I mean, it's probably going to fit into the
Mhm.
2027, you're thinking, right?
Yeah. So
We're
have it
past
be,
the multiverse or the dooms. No? Aren't we
so Doomsday is 2026 May. Secret Wars is May 2027. So
hmm,
this would probably be like a February.
interesting?
That's what I would guess anyways.
Hmm. I'm sure they'll piece it together. What else we
hmm
got?
So uh I'm going to butcher this name. Shu Kwanhan, HSUKUANG-HAN.
Nope.
Uh
Nailed it.
yeah.
You nailed it.
This one comes from Mir Media out of Taiwan that this Taiwanese actor has been cast in Shang-Chi 2.
Hmm.
So that'd be interesting. I wonder the only reason I wonder about this is because of China. Like, is this somebody trying to promote a Taiwanese actor? Because I think Marvel hopes that Shang-Chi does well in China. And so are they going to make a prominent or like a prominent character, potentially a Taiwanese actor?
I mean, I guess it makes sense. Oh man, that just means there's going to be a bunch of restrictions though too.
Right.
But
Yeah, it creates its own can of worms with everything. And who knows how much Marvel cares. They obviously do care about it
yeah,
because China gives them a lot of money for
yeah, it's like
these movies and shows.
it's
But
that grubby side of business of like, well, we should if we market to these people and we get these people involved. Not that there can't be good Taiwanese actors, but like
yeah,
that's not what I'm saying. It's just like that they have to play this, you
yeah.
know.
It's
But
more that there's probably some great Taiwanese actors that Marvel has to consider. Will China be annoyed at the
mm,
fact that it's a Taiwanese actor?
yeah, mm,
Will China throw a fit about it if, like, the promotional or like the coverage of it refers to
right. Like the
it?
Chinese government
Yes,
particularly. But yeah,
yes,
yeah, is
because they have the ability to restrict whatever they want on a
yeah.
whim.
But there's definitely big money over there. If you can
Yes,
get a film to do well with that audience, that's just more revenue for them to bring into X-Men. So
yes, yes. And then, final rumor is that Marvel Studios wants Matthew McConaughey to play another role in the MCU. And you might be like, wait, what role did he play in the MCU?
I know, I know.
All right, let's see if you do.
He was in Deadpool.
as
Cowboy Deadpool?
correct.
Yes. What do I win?
You win a lifetime subscription as co-host of the podcast.
No, no.
Con
Lifetime?
Yep, that's how the contracts work here.
Oh, it doesn't. Dang. God, I should have read before I signed.
Yes.
Uh, that's cool. Like what I should have just said, all right, all right, all right. But I figured that's too on point. Did it say anything about
Not
where?
about
No.
who, where. I'm trying to think.
Molecule Man.
Molecule Man.
I don't think they'll use Molecule Man, but
No. Yeah, I'm trying to think who would make
I think he'd be
sense.
good. I think he'd be a really good Molecule Man,
What
actually.
about Wyndham?
Um,
Jason Wyndham, the
Mutant?
guy. Yeah, the
No.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, who controls like what people see from the Wolverine podcast second season. Who's the big bad for that?
Kinda, I can see that.
Or Wingard. There we go.
Wingard. Yeah.
Yes. I think it'd be fun to have him play a villain.
Yeah, because his like airy, whispery, like I don't know. Yeah, it could play into like more of an evil sided character, but be kind of like on the friendly side. Like it
Yeah,
comes off as like evil, but yet
yeah.
not
Why I like the
dark.
idea of Wingard is because it could be a character who is really dark, but because of how Wingard's projecting everything around into people's minds as to what's happening, he can play kind of that more charlatan, like nicer charlatans feeling guy until you realize what's actually happening.
What if he's just a variant, like a Captain America variant, or like it's more of that kind of role, you know?
Ah,
Kind of fun, like a fun role like they would do, or I don't know. Just
yeah,
an idea. It could be something like that where
it
you're pulling them
depends.
in.
Yeah, like how many more characters or how many more variants are you going to introduce before the end of Secret Wars?
Yeah, and do you think they would do that, or would they just keep? I mean, I'm assuming they're going to keep most of the characters, and if they have a variant in Secret Wars or in that, the later part of the
Hmm.
saga, are they just going to be same actor playing obviously two different versions,
Hmm.
or are they going to have different people show up? God, I would imagine that would make the budget insanely
That
more.
would, and I think it would make it harder for the audience to follow
Yeah, that's true.
too. Like it works with Deadpool because they're all wearing Deadpool costumes.
Yeah, and he's only just doing voice
Yeah.
stuff. So, anyways,
Yeah. So that was it for rumors. We have a whole mess of news here.
ooh, Silver Surfer.
That would be interesting.
Just thought of it's good. I just kind of picture him as a kind of like a surf dude, and
Hmm.
then I was like, and then it came together.
Yes.
Okay. It's all right. Continue.
So, first off, Deadpool and Wolverine coming to Disney Plus in what is it, 9 days?
Nice. Are they gonna have all the deleted scenes in there, you
I'm not
think?
sure.
Or if that'll only be in the
Physical.
yeah. You
Generally,
can still see them, I think, though. They're
yeah,
out there.
yeah. Generally, I don't think they put them up on Disney Plus, the deleted scenes and whatnot. I'll be grabbing the physical as well when that comes out, but I think that's a couple weeks after it comes out on Disney Plus.
Okay.
The physical comes out. I forget the exact date. But so Marvel teased that date at the same time as teasing just a couple other things for next year. The great thing is that makes our life as podcasters around Marvel, it's making it nice for us next year. We're going to be
Very, very
spoiled.
easy. Yeah.
So, this is the slate for the rest of this year, because yes, they did announce something this year still, through next year. Are you all ready for this?
I'm writing this down.
All right. Starting out December 22nd, we are getting the third and final season of What If. The expectation is going to be a drop every night until the series is done. So probably until just around New Year's.
Thankfully, we only do it one time a week, and we don't. We're not
Yes.
like some of the channels that cover
I
it.
know. I both New Rockstars and Screen Crush were like, this kind of sucks. And I'm
Yeah.
like, but as a fan of it, I love this concept
Hmm.
because I love having something to watch. Like after my kid goes to bed every night, I can just be like, all right, 25 to 35 minutes of some fun different what if story.
Yeah. Yeah. It, they were saying how it, because there are people like to have conversations or listen to conversations about those episodes, but, it's so, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. Either way, I don't, if people are like new rock stars are doing that stuff, I don't expect them to be working and breaking those things down. Not during that time of year.
Yep. Yeah, like there's no reason to do it and work yourself to the bone for a
Yeah.
few extra clicks,
Yeah.
especially not with what's coming up next year. So then, on January 29th, we are getting your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And that, I wonder how they're going to drop that. If they're going to do something similar to, but the reason I'm saying that is because then in February, we have Captain America Brave New World. So are they going to have your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man continuing to air right around the time that the movie's coming out? Or are they going to try
Mm,
and release it all ahead of time?
how many episodes are there of Friendly?
Um, I'm not sure.
Well, Wakanda's only Eyes of Wakanda is four.
Yes.
What If's only four? No.
No,
What
what
If
if is,
probably eight,
yeah, I think
something like that.
that's about it, what
I
it's
thought there
been.
was I thought there was two that were going to be short ones.
Yes, we'll get to that, but that comes in October.
Okay.
Um, so it seems the scoopers are saying there's 10 episodes.
A Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yep.
Huh.
I'm wondering if they just let it run. Then it's not going to, I suspect they think it's, and they're probably right, it's not going to be a major talking point show.
Yeah.
So it doesn't hurt it to just have a weekly drop.
Or just do
So,
two. Drop two at a
yeah,
time.
two at a
Two
time.
for
That would still overlap with Brave New
or
World,
or first
but
three and then two at a time.
yeah,
Would that work? Maybe? Or
maybe
three at a time. I don't know.
maybe three at a time. But I I suspect they just won't care if it
Yeah, probably not.
overlaps.
Yeah. It
Uh,
looks cool though. Like I
mhm.
mean, I saw that clip and it looked kind of fun. Like,
Yeah, I like the animation style,
yeah,
and they're going to be short episodes, so
right. Lots of villains. It'd be cool.
yeah. Lots of villains, lots of other characters. Doctor Strange. They showed the image at D23, I think it was, animation
Yeah.
of all the different characters. So that's fun. Then in March, March 4th, we have Daredevil Born Again, which the footage for that looked great.
Hmm. Told you.
Yeah. And then in May, we have Thunderbolts. June, Ironheart, which the footage for that looked fun as well.
Yeah.
I
I
want,
I think there
I've
wasn't that much, right?
not a t There were a few different clips of it. We gotta see the
The
hood.
hood. Yep.
We gotta see Riri as they've suggested on some of the breakdowns, like potentially getting tempted by Mephisto.
Mm. You got to see some of the suit too, didn't you?
Yes,
Which I
a
think looked,
couple different suits, I
yeah, it
think.
looked way better than I mean, yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the one they did in Wakanda Forever, but
Hmm.
this one looks, the one that remember in my head, look, this one looks
Yeah,
good.
like the bigger white suit or
Yeah.
lighter color, silver whitish color suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Didn't
like
look
that
like
one a lot.
Voltron. The other one looked like
Mhm.
Voltron. I don't know.
Yes. Fantastic Four First Steps in July. Then Happy Birthday to Me, Eyes of Wakanda. That actually the first, and I wonder how they'll drop this. I think weekly. That's my guess, anyways. But first one comes out on my birthday.
What you're not, so you're August?
Yeah. So
Well, how about that?
yeah, things Greg finds out. We
Hmm.
only worked together for a handful of years. Uh,
When's my birthday? Well, that's
uh,
not fair because I said it last week. Sort
yes,
of.
November, is it? No,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Oh,
I
so
was
you
like,
weren't even sure. You weren't even sure.
no, I'm like, had to figure out which of the slots, and I was like, yeah, it's the November slot.
What's my
Um,
kids' names and my dog? When was my wife born? Just kidding.
I'll give out your social security number if you're
Yeah.
not careful.
Uh,
So then October is when we get Marvel Zombies drop.
oh, that's
Um,
fun.
yep. So four episodes for that as well. And then in December, Wonder Man,
What? Nothing
which
in November
nothing in November.
yet.
Actually, nothing in September either.
I know, but November is my birthday, so I
Yeah.
wanted to have a birthday present, but
No, they canceled Blade because of your birthday.
those bastards. Uh, well, they knew I wasn't a huge fan, so not
Yeah.
not not a fan. just not
Mhm.
a super fan.
So I'm going to put you on the spot and
Mute. You
ask,
could put me on mute. Sorry.
no, and ask you, what are your five most anticipated
Okay.
from What If all the way through Wonder Man? And I did this for YouTube, so search 10-minute Marvel, and I'll spoil it here too, but you can hear my whole thought process there as to what my most anticipated were, top five. So, Greg's
Mm,
still working on it. Are you putting me in order?
yes.
All right. So number five, what's your number five, Greg?
Number five is Brave New World.
Okay. Number five for me, Eyes of Wakanda.
Hmm. Okay.
I'm excited for that one. Um, Brave New World actually doesn't make my top five.
Really? I can understand.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Number four.
Thunderbolts.
All right. Number four for me is Wonder Man. I thought the footage they showed looked really fun.
That could bump
And
into the list
mhm,
for me, but I just need to see more.
yeah, and Trevor Slattery was great
Yeah,
and as well.
of course.
Number three.
For me is Eyes of Wakanda.
All right. Mine is Daredevil Born Again.
Okay.
Footage looked real good. Is that your number two or
That is
number
my
one?
number two because
Yep.
that footage does look really good.
Yep. My number two is Thunderbolts. I'm real excited for that one. I like that ensemble cast for that.
Yeah, that's that one. That's how it beat out Captain America for me. I think just the ensemble part. And I'm kind of interested to see what they do with Sentry. I want to see what
Same.
happens with that, right?
Yep.
Um,
And then
I'm,
number one,
yep,
I'm guessing Fantastic Four.
you are correct.
Same. I'm
It's I
so
mean, if
excited for
Doom
that
is going
one.
to be into it, I know it sounds like Doom's going to be there, and
Yep.
so
Yeah. I I'm excited to for that, and really there are so many of them that I'm excited for next year and this year. Like
and
What
this year.
If could have made it. Like I'm excited to see what If season three has for us.
What
Cowboy Shang-Chi.
Cowboys? I would yeah, I what if it's like kind of those things like I'm not super eager to it's not like X-Men was for me. Like I
Mhm.
wanted that day to come, right? Like kind of like it has been for Agatha. So for what ifs, it's like, oh cool. Well, I can watch a what
Mhm.
if. I'll watch that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's some of why it probably works better as a drop it all at once
Yeah.
or drop it one a day, kind of make it event watching sort
Hmm.
of thing, because I don't think it is, because it's not a, I mean, there are some episodes that have through story that tie into multiple stories, but it's not like it's a one whole big story where you're like, I want to know the next part of the story next week. There are going to be
Yeah.
some episodes that are just kind of separate.
Yeah.
So,
Um, I was gonna say, did you happen to see Screen Crush, their recent video about what they anticipate is gonna happen? Maybe I should hold off to this question until we're into Agatha, but I am gonna hold off on this. We'll
all
come
right,
back to it because I think it'll tie in better when we're talking about Agatha.
fair. All right. So, speaking of Agatha,
Oh, we're already
in,
there.
in the most clunky transition we've had in a while. No, that was actually pretty good, except you teased something and then retracted the tease
Yeah.
for me to then transition to Agatha. Uh, non-spoiler thoughts on the final two episodes and series as a whole.
Okay. Final two episodes. I really liked them. There were some people that didn't like the order. Some people didn't like the I guess like episode 8 wasn't their favorite necessarily because it seemed a little bit too much going on. But for me, it wasn't ever really a point in time where I'm like where I fell out of the show, where
Hmm.
it was like, hey, wait a second, everything felt like it got tied up pretty well for the most part.
Yes.
And I kind of appreciated how they did put 8 and 9 in that order, those episodes in
Yes.
that certain order. It was just yeah. Catherine Hahn, of course, came through with flying colors. And
Hmm.
yeah,
Same
I
with the
think
Aubrey Plaza
oh yeah.
was real good in there.
Yeah. So I think it was just a solid show. I
Yes.
don't think, they may have missed it. There were some outstanding questions, I think, but that's okay. I don't think it needs
Yes.
to cover all the questions that we have. That's just not possible. So
Hmm.
all in all, this could be my favorite Marvel TV show. Man, you know what? I'm gonna rewatch WandaVision and I'll be able to maybe at that point say whether which is better because this did a really good job, I thought. It's
Mhm.
right up there with WandaVision for me.
Yeah, I can see that. For me, the final two episodes and kind of the series as a whole, I do think the final two episodes were a little step down from how incredible episode seven was. Um, and in particular, episode nine, like I appreciate the order they did it in. It was not what I was expecting, but it made sense and they made it work really well
Hmm.
to kind of explain stuff. And it couldn't have worked in the other order, in my opinion.
Right.
But I think they oversimplified episode nine based off of some stuff that had previously happened in the series that left me wanting a little bit more from that one. But in terms of a show, it's one of my favorites as well. I think if I were to rank them, it would be my third favorite after WandaVision and ooh,
X-Men.
no. Well, I don't know where to put X-Men in terms of do you rank it as part of the MCU or is it a Marvel project? Like separate far
Mm.
enough. But of the live action Disney Plus stuff, like Loki season 2 is up there as well for me and
Hmm.
Miss Marvel. And I know I like Miss Marvel better than most, but I think it just had such a good main character and that portrayal of that character that that one just sticks high for me, even with a villainous organization group that was disappointing at the best.
Right. Yeah. Um,
Let's just say it's a long, long ways away from Secret Invasion.
well, that's good. I think, yeah, that episode 8 for me, kind of as I kind of thought about it just a little bit more, it was definitely a step down from 7.
Mhm. It
And
was.
because and it's okay. I feel like there could have been another episode. I I wish there would have been. I think to flush out 8 a little more and then move into 9. I just and then or have 9 be 10. It just
Eh,
kind of felt like, whoa, okay, we're here. And
yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think there was a good intentionality with how they did it with episode 8. I think episode 9 could have fleshed out a couple more of the things that they teased earlier on in the
Yeah.
series. And just giving me that, just ratcheting up the complexity of the story in that final episode slightly with what it was showing, I think would have been nice.
Yeah, maybe just an extension of like it doesn't need another episode jammed in there. Maybe just like you've said before, like 3, 5 more minutes of something,
Yes.
or 3 to 5
Yep.
minutes of something.
I was literally going to say 3 to 5 minutes more was probably all it needed.
Yeah,
Like, could have just add that tiny bit more complexity to
yeah,
what's happening in that one, because that final episode was just a touch simple in one main element of it, but then it did have a nice kind of separate, unexpected twist
yeah.
in it as well. So.
Because if you would have flipped them, I just don't think you would have got.
You would have given
I think
away
you lose
90%.
kind of the momentum that was kind of
Hmm.
happening in the trial, right? So,
Yep. Well,
um,
and yeah, the end of episode 8 doesn't work at all.
well, we're right.
You would have to so heavily adjust how the two work, and yeah, it's just it wouldn't have worked, and it would have spoiled some reveals. So, but let's move into spoiler talk. Speaking of spoilers, and let's dive in a little bit more with questions, thoughts. Yeah, just wrap up our talk here on Agatha All Along. So.
Yeah.
Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. You have been warned. Spoilers. You want to kick us off?
Is that football fun? Oh, sorry. Okay. Yes. No. Maybe. Yes, I will. I'm trying to think where to start.
Yes.
So, God, there's so much that happens. Where does the episode kick off? Like
Episode
they
kicks off with
episode 8. specifically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kicks off with Jennifer Kale and the teen kind of having that conversation by the Iron Maiden, and then the just the wall of dirt.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they
Basically,
couldn't go back, right?
yep. And then it also had the conversation of Rio and Agatha kind of happening at the same time.
Okay. I think, man,
And we definitely don't
I,
have to go in order because we're
no,
not going to like recap the whole thing for you.
no. Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. So I think it was funny because I actually was re-listening to our last week's podcast just because I
mhm,
was trying to remember what we kind of talked about and some of the things that we thought was going to happen, like the Billy's book coming back into play,
mhm.
the Jennifer Kale saving who was she going to save kind of thing, and just some stuff that just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And it was okay. Like it was okay. I thought Jennifer Kale in that last trial, I really liked that confrontation that happened between
Hmm.
and how and the reveal of Agatha was the one that bound her. I would have liked to maybe seen a little bit of that somewhere, like
Hmm.
had just Agatha in the background somewhere, or something like that
Yeah.
during that situation that Jennifer Kale was in. But then once that was revealed and they kind of figured out that how to get out of there, Jennifer Kale was out, and then she flies away. So, do you feel like we're going to see her again?
Feels like we should.
Yeah.
Um, so Jennifer Kale, the the character in the comics, I believe, is cousins to Johnny Blaze, I want to say.
Oh, really?
Yes. So
Okay.
not that that has to tie into anything,
No.
but it feels like yes, we should see her character again at some point in time, some way.
Yeah, I agree. I would like to. I like that she doesn't know kind of how it all wrapped up. That death,
Yes.
was part I guess that she understands that Agatha had put her in the had bound her, but she just doesn't
Yeah.
quite understand. And
Yeah.
so she's really for Agatha, I feel like she's gonna have a little bit of a vendetta
Yes.
somehow, right? So it feels like she should be coming back at some point, maybe if that Scarlet Witch movie actually happens.
Hmm.
Um,
Which
I
really
think,
seems likely.
yeah, it does, right? And okay, so here's that thing about Screen Crush. Did you happen to see his video on what's coming next?
No.
What his feelings are and how he's tying it in with Doom, like Scarlet Witch will be
Oh,
kind of by Doom's side, right? And
yeah.
it was I really kind of liked it. I liked where he went with that and
So
how he
that
tied things
is
together.
part of the Children's Crusade
Right.
storyline.
Yeah. The Avengers, the Young Avengers, the Children's
Yes.
Crusade, right?
Yes.
So I thought that was really cool. So if you haven't seen it all and whoever's listening, go check it out. It's Screen
Once you're
Crush.
done listening.
Do not stop this podcast. Finish it, like it, subscribe. Then you may go and then you come back again next week and you do the same thing.
Yes.
But yeah, it's really good. It's really interesting too. I don't want to there's a lot to it, so I'm not going to dive into it now, but it
Yeah.
was I think that Jennifer Kale could pop back in there
Hmm.
if anywhere else. So um I liked how she was able to get free.
Yeah.
And that was kind of that last scene that I was kind of wondering about it, her popping out of the ground and then
Hmm.
um I think jumping kind of over to Agatha and death, that scene, it was pretty cool. I liked
Hmm. I like that
uh,
scene. I like how they messed with us in the trailer
oh
because the
yeah,
teen is the one who looks like he's having the conversation with Agatha.
yeah. And
Ah,
she the prize that she asked
yeah.
for.
Yeah.
Um I liked I Wiccan's costume.
Hmm.
It was cool. He was flying in. I was just like, is he just kind of like, did he construct that with his mind? Is that like did he, or did he go back to his house and like
I
pull
think
up the
he
sewing
const
machine and start going at it? What did he do? I
his
don't,
parents hadn't seen him for 24 hours, so pretty sure it was he constructed it with his mind.
yeah. It just seemed like a little bit out of the blue. Now,
Mhm.
just a nod to the costumes in this in the series. I happened to watch the Disney Plus little snippet on costumes and how much
Yes.
detail actually went into it. It's really cool. Underneath its cape is like kind of looks like Vision style embroidery, I guess maybe you'd call
Hmm.
it. I don't know.
Well, I think there's a X-Men X logo on his sweatshirt,
Oh yeah, doesn't
his
it
shirt.
like his
Yeah.
belt area, something like that? Maybe is
I
it
think it
down
was
to
off to the
the
side.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, cool entrance. I like how he started really using his powers. I really liked how in the end Agatha really just was pulling the con again.
Hmm.
And so do you think that as she kind of was like, all right, he's saying he's ready to go ahead and take him, it was like telling that to Rio. And then do you think Rio, or not Rio, but do you think Billy implanted something in her mind? Or like, or do you think that, well, he couldn't read her mind, could he? But
He read her mind.
he read,
He started to understand and he's starting to fully use his powers. I'm pretty sure he, well, what was the question he
so I
asked
was
again?
thinking for a second there, like he manipulated her by controlling her brain to like give Rio that kiss of death. But it didn't play like that. I feel like at
No.
the end of episode 9, we would have seen that
Yes.
in that short conversation that they had. It would have been more of a you jackass. I know what you did. You made
Yeah.
me kiss that. So um
No, that's never how I read it. I think that he's asked about Nicholas Scratch, and there have been conversations around it. And so I think it was like he was willing to sacrifice himself for the Scarlet Witch, or not for Scarlet Witch, but for Agatha, because he is a good person, as much as he tries to claim that he's not.
yeah.
And I think that he was like, I'm fine with this. I just want to have this last conversation. Can you please tell me?
Yeah, I think it seems like now, like that was when Agatha went back and kissed Death, uh, which was super hot. Just kidding. I mean, it was cool. Like it was kind of that thing everybody's been waiting for, right? And
Yes.
it was cool that that's what she did. And I feel like it was it was the best thing she could do in that situation because it sounded like she was wanting to. She felt like it was the right thing to do, right? Because that's
Hmm.
Billy's like, hey, is this what kind of what happened with Nicholas? And I think that that showed her the right thing to do. But I also think that now she's in this new form of a ghost.
Yes.
I kind of the how do you get to a ghost thing? That's kind of what I'm wondering. How do you feel
So,
like that happened? Because she
so,
didn't really want to go, and
um,
there's more to her. Like there's more to her journey yet,
yes.
and right, and so
So,
she
like,
gets stuck.
traditional kind of ghost creation storylines are that there's some piece of unfinished business. And for Agatha, it's an interesting piece of unfinished business because she says that she's not ready to face Nicholas yet.
Did she say? I mean, that was implied, right? That it must be Nicholas.
Yeah.
But why can't she face him?
Because
That's what I couldn't figure out.
because she feels like she didn't do enough to save him, and then she's been a bad person ever since.
See, I thought about that. I'm like, that seemed kind of weak. I feel maybe, and I guess this was actually, I come with this idea because of the Screen Crush video, but it might be she can't face like Chthon or Mephisto because something that happened that we don't know yet regarding the Darkhold.
Possibly, but
I guess it could leave it open to like they have the choice, right?
interpretation. Yeah.
Yeah, and also just hey, if we decide to do that, it's there, right? If they want to
Hmm.
take the story further for Agatha, they have that option.
Hmm. I think it's more, and we get this from the show in general, like with all the stuff in her house, whether it's the real one or not, of Nicholas from the very beginning. Like she clearly hasn't let go of him, and she clearly feels guilt over it somehow.
Right. Is it
And she can't let it go what happened, what the amount of time that they had. She's just struggling with that.
yeah, it just I thought of all that stuff kind of too, and I'm like, it just doesn't fit fully for me. Like it just doesn't give it a solid enough reason for being the worst thing ever for her.
No, it's the worst thing ever for her because she she had time with Nicholas, but it wasn't enough. And she lived their existence basically trying to outrun death. That's kind of what I took like with their kind of lifestyle is that they were constantly on the move, going from place to place. She's draining powers from witches to bulk up her own power, and she's basically trying to find a way to keep Nicholas alive as long as possible. And so she didn't, they had elements of a real life together, but she never got to have, even though she got a real life, she never really had the life that she wanted with Nicholas.
She chose to be more selfish in that those times, that time that she had with Nicholas, I think. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I feel like she had to do those. She had to drain the witch's powers to kill the bodies so that Death could come and collect the bodies. Because if she didn't, that's when that day that they didn't do that is the
Yeah.
day that he died. So it feels
Yes,
like it was
it's
like penance for like you had to pay up, like, right?
mhm.
Pay the piper every day, otherwise I'm gonna take your son.
I don't think it was. I think that's maybe how Agatha was treating it.
But he coughed the day he like didn't do it. He was like started coughing, and then at night, death came.
Yes, but I don't think Agatha knew. I think Agatha was trying to avoid death. And it might have been Agatha was looking like, okay, if I drain and kill these witches, death is going to be too busy to come and get my son.
Sure. Oh yeah. I mean, I think that is definitely part of it, right? Because
Yeah,
if she didn't put the bodies out there, then that didn't distract death from coming. But
right. And they even make a reference to it in The Walk on the Witch's Road of how there's been a lot of deaths, and Rio basically calls out Agatha for trying to distract her from Wiccan, from Billy.
yeah, yeah,
And so I think that's the reason is she feels guilt over the fact that she couldn't save her son. And that's why she's not ready to face him yet. And it is selfish on her behalf, still very much in character, because she doesn't know. And I think Nicholas had what he'd consider a good life, a fun life, traveling around, performing, composing the song together,
mhm,
that it would have been enough. But because she got any time with him whatsoever, it never felt like enough to
sure,
her. And like with the idea of, well, she's killing witches to keep Rio distracted, and the one day she doesn't, she would have been killed. Like, how many witches would she have had to have killed?
right. I mean,
Because it's 6 years.
how much walking can you possibly do in a day to
Yeah.
get far enough away from word being spread that, hey,
Yeah.
yesterday this woman came and she just killed these women.
Mhm.
It's so,
Yeah.
I mean,
New Rockstars made some comment of like, oh yeah, like in that time period, like she's probably doing this all within 5 miles. I'm like, no, like they're walking for days to find a new coven to take out. They're going from here to there because if they pop up anywhere close to where they were before, they're walking. People had horses. The message would have gotten out. Like, yeah, there's this
right.
witch killer or this
Yeah.
person killing people.
Yeah. So that was, I think that was kind of the big mystery for me at the end, just trying to understand the whole thing with Nikki, why she couldn't face him. But how do you feel about Agatha as a ghost at this point?
I like it.
Jumping, yeah,
So this is actually the
comic accurate.
reverse of the comics because in the comics she is a ghost, and then she and the Scarlet Witch walk
Right.
the witch's road, and she gets her body at the end, and she's
Oh, yeah,
back.
yeah. Okay.
Here they walk the witch's road, and we'll have to talk about the witch's road coming up here and what it actually is. Um, and now at the end, she's a ghost. But I like her as kind of that mentor figure to Billy.
I think it's super entertaining in that sense
Mhm.
because I feel like she's still
She's still Agatha.
she's still Agatha, which is something that we both said we really wanted in, right? We wanted to have Agatha still be true Agatha as we've kind of fallen in love in that with her in that way.
Hmm.
But I think it'd be kind of cool. I wouldn't mind seeing Catherine Hahn get a body back if they were to do that. I don't think that's cheating necessarily. I could also see that be something that would be something she would strive for eventually, possibly, maybe.
Yeah.
But is it necessary? No. I
Hmm.
think she can do a lot of fun. Like, how much
Hmm.
fun can she be, Catherine Hahn, especially in the role
Yes.
as a ghost?
Yeah. And I do think there's an element to where she'd probably look at it and go like, okay, I want a body back, but I also don't want to have to deal with, and she's not ready to deal with death again.
Yeah,
The character,
right.
not the
Yeah,
idea of death, but
because Death doesn't want to be around ghosts. She hates ghosts. So
mhm.
yeah, I can't wait.
Because
I really
yeah,
hope we get to see Aubrey Plaza's death more,
yes,
like somewhere. Like
Midnight
yeah,
Suns.
yeah. There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, for me, episode 9, it
Mm.
did one thing I thought was really great, which was it built on the title of Agatha All Along because the legend of the Witch's Road exists because of a song that she and Nicholas created.
That was really cool.
Hmm.
I love it. And I actually was went back and watched like the first, I think 2 to 3 episodes.
Hmm.
And it's so cool to kind of see and know these things now that Agatha, like she's saying, no, it's about the Coven Two, not the Coven True, or whatever the lyrics were.
Hmm.
And just knowing that she is right, and to see just to see everything in its truth, and going
Hmm.
back and watching it in that way, it's really kind of cool. I really, yeah, I thought that way of having the Witch's Road be just a personal song, between
Hmm.
her and Nikki was just a really clever
It's
and genuine way to do it.
Mhm. And it is then true to the title of the show, too.
Yeah,
Like, it's Agatha all along because the Witch's Road only exists because she and Nikki made this song.
yeah,
Like, the
it,
the concept would not exist without her.
yeah. I mean, for all of it, it just to come to the end and be like, yep, it was all her again, right? It was all just
Hmm.
Agatha again. But you're not really seeing that in the middle of the of all those episodes. You're not seeing how it
Yep.
will come back around and just be her again.
Hmm.
So,
Plus, though, it also kind of wasn't completely her. It was in
no,
terms of her creating the song, but obviously then at the end of episode 8, what did you think about that? The Kaiser Sose usual
yeah.
suspects moment of the
Uh,
teen looking around his room and being like, wait, every element of the Witch's Road exists here in this room.
it was it would have been a lot cooler if I would have not have had it pointed out to me that a lot of these things were in his room prior to.
Hmm.
But it was still, I think, a really cool way of making it not Agatha manipulating everything
Yes.
and being all around Agatha, but it was Agatha being pulled into this construct, right, made by
Hmm.
Billy, and her having to work through that and
Yep.
still manipulate and come out on the end. So,
Yes.
yeah, I thought that landed really well.
I did too. I know there were some not real complaints about it, more so just that it wasn't really that Kaiser Sose reveal moment, which I'm fine with that. I don't need it to be like the show has had so many other big kind of reveal moments in it with, I mean, again, ones that we generally suspected with Wiccan and with Death. So I don't feel like it needed to be like, yeah, and now one last big reveal that's completely out of the blue if you're not paying attention.
Yeah. I liked how it wasn't, yeah, reveal like in episode 9, it wasn't reveal, 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 reveal. And I like how it was they paced those reveals
Yeah,
throughout the
5,
last,
7, and 8.
yeah.
5, 7, 8, and then 9 has its own reveal of the Witch's Road song, or
Yeah,
like where that came from.
yeah. I'm trying to think of some other like things that happened in there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else makes sense to talk about. Honestly, I do appreciate that the show itself didn't leave me with a ton of questions. Obviously, the expectation is okay, we're going to see the teen, we're going to see Wiccan go forward and show up in something with Agatha probably at his side. But there is no like oh yeah, it's this thing that we have that big question for. Like our questions I feel like are fairly small, which I appreciate.
Um, yeah, there's only just a few little things that didn't really come together for me, but they're nothing that I'm like, oh, that was a disappointment that we didn't get the
Hmm.
answer on that. Um,
And it didn't like we have White Vision floating out there somewhere from WandaVision.
I am kind of curious how they're gonna have Agatha and Billy. If Billy's gonna you're gonna pull this Agatha ghost into possibly a WandaVision series. So it's like
Our Vision series.
what did I say? Did I say
WandaVision.
WandaVision?
Yes.
Yeah, Vision, like the Vision Quest or whatever they're gonna call it. So um
Mhm. I think that it's going to be mainly separate.
I think it'll
I,
be just kind of that when they're off alone, that's when she'll come in, and then it's not gonna be like, who the heck is he talking to? Like
right. Well, I don't think we're going to see Wiccan necessarily until, like, to me, Wiccan feels like a post-credit scene for the Vision show.
so you don't
Just
think it's
'cause-
going to be primarily, hey, yeah, I could see that. Like it's not going to be Billy, Agatha looking for Tommy. That's not going to be the series. That's going to be something that kind of comes in
yeah,
maybe on the back end of it.
yeah. I think it's more likely that Vision stumbles across Tommy somehow after he's created his own family.
Mm,
And then like the whole everybody coming together is with Agatha there is like the start of the Scarlet Witch movie to get her back, to bring her back, and then they're having as a true family to have to face off against Chthon or something like that.
yeah, I think I want it to be some Tommy story around just him. Like if he is in the Vision Quest, will he be really rough around the edges? Kind of like his, I mean, it's from what it sounds like, Tommy is not the body that he takes on is not a body and a kid that's been in a very good place mentally, sounds like abusive home life kind
Yeah.
of thing. Sounds
Yep.
terrible, right? So I'm
Yep.
just kind of wondering if that's going to be a part of that story where we get this kid that's super rough around the edges,
Hmm.
but trying to pull him in.
Yeah.
So,
Trying to pull him in. I could even see him being like White Vision. Vision isn't looking for him. Even Vision has created his own life. Like Vision doesn't know
mhm.
that this exists. He just creates his own life with his own kids, and his kids, as part of Vision's kind of desire based off of the memories that Vision was given in WandaVision, is for this idea of a normal life, that life that he and Wanda could never have. And instead, now, like Vin and Viv are at a high school or something like that and befriend Tommy without even realizing
Yeah,
who it is.
I feel like he's going to be a character that's going to be portrayed as this total jerk of a kid or like a
Hmm.
loner, but then we find out who he really is. So
Yeah,
it's not going to be like, oh, hey, there's Tommy. It's going to be this side character that we get kind of introduced to, and then
yeah.
he gets
Like they'll
pulled in
refer to
more and
him
more.
as Shepherd or the
Yeah,
Shepherd Kid.
Shep. Call him Shep. I don't know.
Yeah. And then
He's on the
event
track team.
Yeah. Or he isn't on the track team. Like he's too much of a loner. Like he doesn't like anybody at school, but then is befriended by the couple of other weirdos. Turns out that aren't actually human.
All makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It all makes sense.
Yeah. Uh yeah, so it's kind of like, okay, how does this or does this tie into the Vision show? When do we see Wiccan and Agatha next? And when do we see Jennifer Kale next? Those are kind of the questions I have coming out of
Mhm.
this.
Yeah.
I guess when we see death next as well. But
I imagine it's gonna be a while. If anything, if they're
mhm.
talking about Blade or something like that, then
Yeah,
that sounds like the right spot, like right?
yeah.
But even so, like I wonder if she's gonna have a large role anywhere or if it's just gonna be dropping in here and there, cameo kind of thing. Which
Hmm.
I hope she has a significant role somewhere because
Yes.
I'd like to
Aubrey
see
Plaza's.
more of her death. Like I'd like to see
Yeah.
more of what her character is like.
Yes. Same.
Maybe she'll show up there as Deadpool's hovering over Thor's body and she'll show up.
Yep. Deadpool just drops Thor to the ground and makes some completely inappropriate comment about how hot she is.
Yeah. And then he just goes up to her and is like, just starts trying to make out with her.
Yes. Yeah. Something classy like that.
Yeah, something classy that he would do, of course.
Hmm.
So,
Or maybe if she's just as hanging around, if she is a cosmic entity versus a terrestrial entity
well, she
of
kind of is,
death.
right? I think,
In the
again,
comics, yeah.
resorting back to the Screen Crush video, they're talking about death, eternity. Oh, what's the other ones? There's
There's
some,
the yeah.
yeah, there's like two or three other one there too. And so,
Yeah. There's a number of cosmic entity level
yeah,
things. So the question is, do they decide to take the that approach
yeah,
with it? Obviously, that's a comic book approach. So TBD to see if
yep.
they go straight from there. All right. Any final questions, thoughts, comments, quibbles, complaints, moments that you love that we haven't talked about? I'm kind of
I,
I'm pleasantly surprised I don't have a ton of
right?
questions.
I know it wrapped really nicely for me,
Hmm.
and I can't encourage people enough to at least check it out. Like
Yeah.
if you're not a Marvel fan, or if you just think this looks like a little bit too left field for that,
Yeah.
or for what you like in the Marvel universe,
Hmm.
I would still check it out because
Hmm.
it's just really well done.
Yes. And I guess that is a good last kind of comment, is this really isn't a Marvel show. This is a witch show with Marvel characters.
Right. But I mean, it's still and then relating to the comics, everything, a lot
Yes.
of what shows and movies are pulled from. It's just this other branch of
It's
stories.
yeah. It was very intentional to tell a witch story and the story it wanted to tell versus trying to tell a witch story and force superhero
Yeah,
into it.
right,
Like we got the kind of Marvel moment of them facing off against death
right.
to
Which is,
then immediately have Agatha be like, "Yeah, we can't beat her. She's death."
yeah, like it's pointless. Um, which I appreciated again, as we were saying, episode 8 is where that battle scene happened.
Mhm.
And it was kind of funny how they threw the kitchen sink out, that was what came
Yes,
flying out. I thought that was a
that
nice
was the
comical
duck.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I appreciate that, and it didn't happen in episode 9, really, right? So
Yep.
I it was refreshing for that. And
Hmm.
for the team that put this show together, I would really love to see more of what they can do, whether it
Hmm.
be stories like this with just a little bit of more of a branched out kind of storytelling
Hmm.
and doing their own, but also try and actually do one of the more Marvel-like shows and keep it in this type of
Hmm.
storytelling. So,
Yeah. I mean, oftentimes when Marvel does their best stuff, it feels outside of what you would expect.
right.
Like when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, how the hell was that going to work? Because nobody knew the team, nobody cared about these characters, and they made a comedy action superhero movie
Yeah.
that was different from what they've done before. And then, yeah, I like it when Marvel experiments. It's not always going to be perfect, but I prefer to have Marvel experiment and take a chance and figure out what works, what doesn't work, what it could look like. I mean, for me, it worked with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and that movie made over $1 billion,
Mhm.
I believe. So, like,
It
it
did not
worked.
work for Secret Invasion.
Right.
That's 100% that, and so they at least have a
Yep.
baseline of where they not to go, I guess,
Yep.
or I don't know.
And some of that is don't edit it for like if you're going to edit something heavily based off of current world events, decide if you need to do more.
Right.
Like just rework large chunks.
Yeah.
So,
Otherwise, yeah, I'm content. I'm
mhm.
sad it's over, but
Yeah,
I guess I'm still gonna continue watching it again, like on my a second
yeah,
run through, just to have because it's fun. It really has
yeah,
been fun these first couple
yes.
episodes to see it, and so I recommend you doing that. And yeah, I
Mhm.
it's a little bit of a letdown now. Like nothing to look forward to
Nothing.
exactly of that nature,
Yeah,
but there will be soon enough. So
yeah. I mean, December 22nd. We probably won't. I mean, that's a ways out, but also not in terms of the year. So we're going to be, we'll cover all of the What If in one fell chunk. I'm pretty sure starting the new year in 2025. So just in the kind of the interim as we wrap up 2024 and look ahead to 2025, we're going to spend some time looking back on everything that's come out here in 2024, kind of rank it from our favorites to least favorites, have a conversation about that, as well as then we kind of spoiled some of already like what we're looking forward to in 2025, but have a more detailed conversation around that. That will kind of be some of the topics going forward. And if you have other questions, other topics that you want us to cover, let us know that as well. And let us know what you thought of Agatha All Along. You can do that over here on the podcast. You can do that at facebook.com/10 Min Marvel or on the YouTube page. I know I have a question out about that on the community tab. So engage with us there. Let us know what else you might want us to cover, talk about going forward as well here. And we really do appreciate everybody who listens. Greg gave a few ways you can help support the podcast at the beginning. But we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/nerdologists. The funds go to help improve the quality of this podcast, as well as the Molten Maples YouTube channel, 10 Minute Marvel YouTube channel, and nerdologists.com website. But with that, see you next time.
take care, everybody.